Hi there, everybody. It's meteorologist Terry Swails, and it's Saturday. You're on tswails.com, and this is your weather briefing for the upcoming weekend and actually into Monday, too. Looks like that's going to be an active period of weather here in the upper Midwest. First things first, though, take a look at this beautiful weather picture. This is today's featured image. It comes from Lisa Weather Gal Smith. She lives up in Clinton County, and she caught this storm a few days ago. And she's taken it into the Photoshop here and given it a little different color. She's added that orange look to it there, which I absolutely love. Kind of gives you that Wizard of Oz feel. I just expect to see Toto come running across the screen there. Just an absolutely beautiful shot, and thanks to Lisa for sending that in. You can also send your weather pictures to tswails.com or put them on Facebook, and hopefully one of yours will end up right here as a feature image. So let's get to the weekend forecast. And here's our satellite imagery, and energy continues to enter the western United States and streak towards the Midwest. There's a couple thunderstorm clusters you can see on there right now that extend off to the west of our immediate area here. But they are beginning to push northeast, and eventually thunderstorms and showers should work their way into eastern Iowa and western Illinois late today or tonight. And then additional rounds are expected as we go through the upcoming weekend. Strong storms and some locally heavy rain will be a possibility. But as far as today goes, right now there's not a lot showing up around eastern Iowa or western Illinois, but down in Missouri there, you can see some thunderstorms beginning to pop, and that piece of energy is headed northeast and should generate at least some scattered showers and storms, if not late today, sometime tomorrow evening, and that's kind of the first volley of the storm system. Once this gets on through, things get even more active later on in the weekend. And speaking of that, here's the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for severe weather on Sunday, and you can see much of the state of Iowa involved in that. Goes up into Wisconsin, Minnesota, and back into eastern Nebraska, and that's an area to watch closely for some severe weather tomorrow that could actually even include a few tornadoes. And now we're looking at Monday, and the system has pushed off a little further east, and there's still a risk for much of eastern Iowa, a good chunk of Illinois, and back into Missouri and Kansas. And by that time, looks like this will be the final stages of the storm, and it should eventually kick east, and by Tuesday, things will start to quiet down a little bit. But I wanted to show you the capes here. This is the convective available potential energy, and this is on Sunday. And you can see there are plenty of areas that are under the gun here for severe weather if thunderstorms get going. There's just a lot of instability indicated by that chart there. And also same thing on Monday. You can see that's just a little further east into eastern Iowa and down into Missouri. So I don't think we'll have any troubles with instability, that's for sure. There's plenty of moisture and heat available for some strong thunderstorms, especially with the dynamics that will be entering Sunday and Monday. One of the ways, too, to measure the strength of storms is by whether or not they could be supercells. And this graphic here indicates the potential for supercells on Sunday. And then we take this off to Monday. And those red to pink areas indicate where there's a strong likelihood of rotating thunderstorms. And those are the ones that generate severe weather and also could put out some torrential rainfall that could result in some flash flooding or even some rises on area rivers and streams. And here's the rainfall totals that are coming down from the GFS this morning. And while it's not as heavy as in some previous runs, I'm not too concerned about the amounts here, which are still substantial in the 1 to 3 inch range in a lot of locations. This will continue to waver around a little bit. Models just do not have the ability to accurately portray where this heavy precipitation will fall or the exact amounts. But the trends are important, and we're still seeing a lot of locations around Iowa, up into Wisconsin, down into maybe Missouri and western Illinois, where there is the potential for some strong to heavy rains in the next 24 to 48 hours. And once the system moves to the east, look what happens here. The storm track buckles in from the northwest, and this should bring some really fresh air into the Midwest for the 4th of July holiday. You can see the trough there really digging down into the Great Lakes states, so with the northwesterly winds, that'll cut out the humidity and send in a fresh Canadian air mass. And this is the temperature anomaly that the GFS is forecasting for the 4th of July, and temperatures of 8 to maybe 14 degrees below normal are expected in parts of the central Midwest, and that could keep a lot of locations in the 70s for highs on the 4th. And the good news in all of that is that it also looks like most of the rains would stay out over the plain states, and overall should be a cool but dry forecast if everything holds here in the next few days. And what you're looking at here is the long-range forecast for the month of July off the Jamstack model. That is a Japanese long-range forecast model. And if you look closely there, you can see the United States and Mexico down there off in the central to right parts of the panel here. And it's showing a trough over the eastern U.S. with a ridge over the west. And if that does pan out, that would have significant implications for temperatures by continuing to bring in some cool air masses. And here is the 16-day forecasted temperature anomalies off the GFS. And going out over 2 weeks here, you can see the central part of the U.S. continues to be below normal on temperatures. So by that time, we're halfway through the month of July, and it is my contention that July will average below normal on temperatures. And I'm thinking maybe by the middle to latter portions of the month, this heavy rainfall pattern might break a little bit too. But in the short term, I'm still thinking kind of a wet pattern here for the next couple of months before this overall change to more of a northwest flow gets established in the atmosphere. So there is lots to look forward to here in the weekend weather, and potentially with thunderstorms on Sunday and Monday that could bring some severe weather and some locally heavy rains. And we'll be watching that very closely here on Swails.com, and of course we'll have updates for you in the next couple of days. Thanks for joining us here on Swails.com, and as I always say, roll weather.